Hello and welcome back to Oh God, why didn't I get my hair cut before we went into a global pandemic? What a goofster I am. Well, actually, this is the... I didn't do the show for like a month, so I guess this is actually episode 1 of the GRYITH Show Live Quarantine Edition. Here we are, the Quarantine Edition, episode 1. I couldn't even do a sketch this week because I can't leave this room. I mean, I can, but I shouldn't. I'm not ill. I'm not quarantined. I'm just in isolation. And, you know, there's all sorts of laws and things. I won't get into it here because this is going to go on YouTube. Let's get right into it with What About? First up is The Invisible Man. I saw it before the world shut down.
Wait, did you just steal my joke?
What?
Thin Visible Man.
Thin Visible Man?
Yeah.
I just said the
No, you said Thin Visible.
The Invisible Man.
Yeah, it's
I guess
Thin
he is a...
Invisible Man.
Jess, would you rather be an invisible man or a thin visible man?
An Invisible Man.
What did I think about this freaking movie? Honestly, high key, it's the best new horror movie I've seen since Hereditary. I haven't seen Midsummer, and there's a couple others I haven't seen. But what else we got here? Countdown. Remember that one?
What if an app could tell you how long before you die?
What about The Drone? Huh? Was that a horror masterpiece?
Babe, stop. I'm not in the mood.
Why don't you say something?
No, but this was really good. I mean, it was spearheaded by a brilliant performance from the lead actress. Fantastic. She does an amazing job. I also liked the best horror movies. Sort of find this balance between dramatic irony and keeping the viewer in the dark. And this does that also because it shows us that there are things happening to this woman. But it also kind of makes you think, oh, what if it's all in her head? She's the narrator. This could all be just her. It's great. Even when the Invisible Man himself does show up, it's great. One thing that this really solidified in my head is I'm really happy that horror has, in recent years, been unafraid to have fantastical elements and knows that they don't have to explain them. A good example of the opposite would be like Paranormal Activity. As that series went on, they were like, oh yes, here is the fucking demon's backstory. He was a poor orphan boy from Serbia. Who gives a fuck? But a good example would be this, The Invisible Man. For reasons I won't say because spoilers. And another would be Get Out. Pops to mind. Spoilers for Get Out. It's well past the 6-month rule for that. But in Get Out, it is revealed they're swapping people's brains over. And it's never like, well, what we do is we cut the neural artifices. And like a film from the 90s would have fucking done that. Because films from the 90s and the 2000s all felt like if you didn't explain every fucking thing, the audience was gonna riot, right? I mean, it's a fucking trope now, you know? Give it to me straight, Four Eyes, you know? In English, please. Films are finally realizing that you don't fucking need to do that. It's only taken like 25 years, alright? This is a great movie. Great performances, great, fantastic cinematography, great effects as well, especially considering the budget of the movie. It's not low, but it's not as high as these effects would make you think. As I said, the cinematography is great. There's some great use of negative space, use of tracking shots and sustained shots and all sorts of things like that. Fantastic use of... Oh, they stole my fucking idea. A few months ago, I was saying, oh, I'd love to make a film entirely with one of those robot arms that can perfectly recreate perfectly recreate movements in multiple takes, you know? And all of the different possibilities with that, and a lot of the possibilities that I thought of with that thing, they've used in this. I'm gonna sue Blumhouse. I'm coming for you. Anywho, I would give The Invisible Man a tentative gold star. I kind of think that as time goes on, this might slip down into a high green star, but at the moment, I think this is a gold star. It's a great movie, great horror movie. It's got the intellectual depth of character. It's got the style. It's got the substance. And it would even work as a great popcorn flick. It's for everyone. It's a film for everyone. That's The Invisible Man. Alright, moving on to our next segment, which is What About? We're gonna be, now, it's Doom Eternal! I played through this game on stream. Not a whole thing, but most of it on stream. Fantastic game. It has a real difficulty curve, which is perfectly done. When you first start playing this game, it feels like it's really, really difficult and you're really, really struggling. But then as you slowly learn what's going on, well, not so slowly, by like a third of the way into the game, you kind of there was this moment where I realized, oh my god, I've got this now. Like, I'm just effortlessly doing this. I think one publication described it as a ballet with guns, and I think that's very apt. There's even a point, sort of. I replayed some of the first portion of the game, and it was like, wow, how did I find this tricky before? When you get it with this game. It's fantastically executed. It's so satisfying. It's so fun. There's so much thought and tactical effort you have to put in. In Doom 2016, I remember you could basically just get through the whole game with one gun until you run out of ammo. You know, everything sort of gets killed the same way, if that makes sense. Shoot it until it dies. But in Doom Eternal, you really have to think about how you're going to approach every situation, what order you're going to take enemies out, what guns you're going to use against each of those enemies, what their weak points are, how you can take them out the most effectively, how you can balance, using your flame belch on them to get armor versus how many times to glory kill to get health, and when that would be a waste of time, when to use blood punch, when to there's a lot of intertwining mechanics, but none of it ever feels like too much. It all sort of very nicely weaves together. It's just so brilliantly executed, and it's honestly one of the best shooters that I've ever played, ever, in terms of the shooting. I think negatives would be the final boss wasn't great. The final boss felt like they came up with this great jibbing system where enemies could, parts of their bodies could turn into other things and, show flesh coming off, and they were like, wow, why don't we just make our final boss just that? I won't explain how if you haven't played the game yet, but that's basically the entire final boss, and I was a little disappointed with it. The other negative would be sometimes I felt like the story almost bordered on being too prevalent, especially towards the almost the end. It almost feels like it's interceding on you too much in the game, but it never truly does. It's just something that I was worried about whilst playing, but it never truly does. It's just that it was a worry that I was actively thinking about during the game. Another fantastic highlight of this game would be the Doomslayer's man cave, the Fortress of Doom. Loads of brilliant Easter eggs, loads of collectibles to get there. I'm not saying anything you won't have already heard, quite honestly. Doom gets a gold star. I'm not going to keep talking about it. You already know it's good, right? You already know it's good. Even platforming's good. I mean, it's weaker than the shooting, but it's still good. Yeah, Doom Eternal Gold Star. Like, I'm not gonna talk about this. Another game that I'm not going to talk about too much is Animal Crossing New Horizons. Like, if you're watching this, there's about like an 85% chance you've already played the game, right? And what more can you say? I mean, the thing is, you can't even rate Animal Crossing. It is its own category of game. Animal Crossing is fantastic.
I've played it for 40 hours and the game's only been out like a couple of weeks.
Jess has played over 40 hours. I don't know how long I've played. Again, I don't want to talk about this game even, because it's you already know about it. What is there to say? It's Animal Crossing.
Just get it. It's therapy.
It is. It's therapy. It's perfect for these hard times that we're in right now. So, just get the game.
Please. Give me your pears.
Anyway, Animal Crossing. I don't even want to give Animal Crossing a rating, because it's not. It's so different. There's no point of comparison to any other game. So how can you rate a game like this? There's so many things.
10 out of 10. That's what I rate it.
There's so many things in this game that almost would be negatives in another game. Having to wait so long for things, but the way it's executed in this game, it's so satisfying. It's so rewarding. It's so calming. You can't put a rating on this game. Just know that it's a game that everyone who has a Nintendo Switch should get. There. That's my rating. Get the game. Otherwise, you're a fool. You're a fool. Don't tell yourself, oh, it won't be my kind of thing. It's everyone's kind of thing. It's Animal Crossing. You can play it however you want. It's a sandbox for your imagination. Just, you can literally play it however you want. Get it. Or you're an idiot. If you have a Nintendo Switch and you don't get Animal Crossing, I'm gonna come to your house. You hear me? Anyway, moving on to our next segment. What about? Half-Life Alyx. To make a long story short, Half-Life Alyx at the moment on this day, the 3rd of February, no, the 3rd of March,
It's
the
April.
3rd of April, this game as it stands is Game of the Year to me. And I think this has a strong chance of winning, of being the first VR game to win Game of the Year. Here I am again after a surreptitious costume change. It's been about 10 minutes, yet I have changed my outfit. Anyway, Half-Life Alyx is very special because it did two major things for me, personally. The first of which is convincing me that it could be the first VR game ever to win Game of the Year at an award ceremony. Because it has a big name behind it, and other than that, it is just a phenomenal game. The other thing it convinced me of is that VR as a medium is more than just gaming. Previously, I kind of have seen VR as a gaming peripheral, and whilst it is basically just an evolution of gaming, it's an evolution of gaming the same way CG animation in games is kind of just an evolution of film. I now see VR as almost its own whole new medium. One based around player interactivity, one based around immersion. I really, really think that in the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to be seeing a lot of changes in VR. And I think Half-Life Alyx will be the catalyst for a lot of these ideas. even though Half-Life Alyx itself, and might be one of the most controversial things I say about Half-Life Alyx doesn't do anything new. It doesn't. It just straight up doesn't. At least not on paper. It's a pre-standard shooter in VR. It's just the most polished horror shooter in VR ever. When I first started playing the game, I was a little underwhelmed with the lack of environmental interactivity, the lack of physics integration. I've just come hot off the heels of games like Boneworks and The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Games in which the enemies and the player are all physics objects. Less so in Saints and Sinners, but there was a moment of pure disappointment when I grabbed a head crab out the air. I had adrenaline rushing through me, and I smash it against a wall, and nothing happens. It doesn't register as even... The head crab doesn't even recognize that anything has occurred. It just keeps squirming in my hand as though nothing's happened. And that really put a damper on me. I thought... I kind of expected more. This was during my first hour of playing. And honestly, after I got used to the fact that it didn't have that same level of physics integration that I almost expected from Valve, it was still an amazing game. But it was an amazing game on two primary fronts. I think a lot of people are overlooking how great the AI is in this game. The enemy AI is outstanding. The enemies in this game were doing things I wasn't even thinking about. They really forced me to think tactically in a lot of scenarios. They did a really good job of hiding, of sneaking around to try and flank me. It's really genuinely impressive. The other thing, and the main thing that this game does phenomenally, is immersion and cinematic moments. There were so many times in this game that I was walking through an area and I would look and I would say to myself, holy shit, this is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. And it would be something basic, like an infested room. Something we've seen 1,000 games. A room that's infested with some sort of growth. But the way that they do lighting in this game, the way that they use color, the art design in this game is just the best I've ever seen in a video game. And I think they did a really, really good job of advertising this game, because almost all the trailers just show brick and sand and yellows and grays, and those are the only colored environments you see. But in the game, it's stunning. Now, obviously, I'm not going to talk about spoilers for this game, but what I will say is that the last hour of this game is one of the best moments I've ever had in a video game. One of the best scenes I've ever had in a video game. And the last level of this game plays out very much like the... Just can you cover your ears? Like the Matchbox maze in the game Control. It was very reminiscent of that, except being there in VR brought it to a whole other level. Now, I don't want to talk about the game too much. There's just so much to say. And I'm not even talking about the ending. But what I will say is that so far this is my game of the year. Even though I just said that I think VR games are going to transition into a whole new medium, this is still a video game. And this is game of the year so far. That is on the heels of Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing, with with Resident Evil 3 releasing today as of the recording of this. I still think that Half-Life Alyx is the best game that I've played this year. And it's very, very solidly a gold star. Oh man, I haven't even talked about the game design, the placement of objects and items, the pacing. There's so much of this game is done so perfectly. It achieves everything it sets out to do. Enemy design, the antlions are perfect. There's just so much to talk about. But I won't. All I'll say is go and play it. There we go. Next segment. Jess, do I have anything else to review?
Do Cryptid of the Week.
Our next segment's going to be Cryptid of the Week. To celebrate the first episode of the GRYITH Show live, quarantine edition, the Cryptid of the Week is going to be unnamed virus that I can't say because this is going on YouTube. Imagine if that was real. Imagine if there was a virus that is killing thousands of people. Imagine a virus that is the most contagious thing since the Spanish fucking flu. Imagine, if you will, this killer virus exists, yet people still go out and hang out with their friends, even when worldwide governments tell them, please do not do that. I beg you. And what the fuck am I on about? What am I going on about? This is too downer. Let's not have a downer ending to the show here. Let's talk about something else here. Alright, gamers. The next segment. Spooky Kabuki of the week. No, actually, I've got a request. That's what I've got. I want to make more SCP readings. So, because I've got the time to do that now. So I want someone during the live segment to suggest an SCP, because I don't want to put in the effort. Suggest SCPs for me to do readings of that I haven't done yet, because I really want to make more. Anyway, moving now on to the live segment. I was talking, and you did not hear me. Yeah, perfect.
There's a little gap on your side.
It's fine. Did you drag it towards you instead of pushing it forwards? Push it forwards instead. There you go. So,
There's still a gap on your
we'll push it this way then. And now push it forwards on your side. See? Sorted.
Magic.
Magic.
Okay, off with the shirt.
We love the muted live segment. I'm sorry, so we can experience the GRYITH show how it was always intended. Not experiencing it. That's how. And because, Jess, it's Easter next week, right?
This week. This Sunday.
It is Sunday. It's Monday, right? This Sunday, but there's not going to be a GRYITH show on Monday. So I've decided I'm going to eat this Easter egg.
Oh yeah,
on
that was
stream.
definitely a plan.
Because-
Not just 'cause you want an Easter egg.
Because mostly I want to eat this Easter egg. You're echoing.
Yeah.
Why am I echoing? Oh, because of
it's
you.
'cause
How's that?
Magic.
How do you get an echo? How? You're not even in a VC. I am in a VC.
Yeah,
I'm in
we're
on
in
air
there.
in a Discord.
Yeah.
Hi.
There you go. It's because I don't have Jess muted because I'm a silly goofball.
I'll mute this off.
Lovely. So good. Something about said something about SCP. SCP-018. Yes, of course you can.
It's all melted.
Of course it is. It's boiling in here.
Yeah.
Jess, you are half in the
Whose fault is that?
void. Come, move
I
back.
have to code.
Oh yeah. Okay, you code. Tom says SCP-420. SCP-018 is a Super Bowl made by the Whammo Company in 1969. Yes, 1969. The year of the moon landing.
The year of the sex number.
What the fuck?
Nice.
You can't say that on this show.
We
I
went
told-
What,
to
the
the
sex
moon
number?
in 1969. No, 1968, but the year after.
Where did you get that from?
From Even Stevens.
Even Stevens. 420J. I don't want to do
is that the
420J.
number?
420J is not funny.
I can't believe y'all are talking about the weed number SCP on
Oh,
stream.
you're right. You are absolutely right. Not allowed to talk about sex, but we are allowed to talk about recreational drugs. Can I say legalize it on air? Legalize what?
Legalize 420.
Cocaine, obviously.
Don't legalize cocaine.
Don't.
I don't know.
You
I
must
feel
have-
like it should be legalized, at least for a little bit.
There are much worse drugs than cocaine, but it is also a highly addictive substance, and I believe that all highly addictive substances should be illegalized.
Yes. Like McDonald's.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna go
Except sugar.
snort some cocaine right now just to prove you wrong.
Because you like sugar.
That's right. I think alcohol should be illegal.
Yes,
That's a
I
legit hot take from me.
I absolutely
I frequently drink alcohol, yet I also disagree with the fact that it is such a fucking. You know what? I'm not going to talk about this.
Now, because
I'm not going to subject people to me just ranting about shit every time we do this.
because our budget
I don't know.
is so low, and
I don't know. I kind of want to hear what you have to
Josh
say
has
about
this
cocaine,
big
Chris.
Easter egg, and this is my Easter.
Yes. Well, mine's hollow. All right.
Yeah.
Tom says that I should talk about his massive beefaroni.
Oh, his massive cock?
I mean, I only call it massive in person, but
Right, on with the show, Josh. Go on. You're taking long enough.
I wish I could do that.
Oh no.
oh god. Got him. So I want to talk about all of the crazy stories that have happened, but quite honestly, 90% of them are this thing's been cancelled, this thing's been postponed, this thing, that thing. So I'm not even going to talk about any of those. And even then, there's been a bunch of things, mostly shows that have been announced in this time. Obviously, Half-Life Alyx 2 Eternal, all sorts of things came out. That's what I get for spending 3 weeks not doing the show. Tales from the Loop came out the other day. That's going to be pretty good. We watched the first episode, and it was okay. It was fine. Talk about Onward. The only thing I have to say about Onward is that it was better than Frozen 2.
Yeah.
The other most recent Disney-owned animated release, I guess. Fuck, there's so many things. I don't want to talk about COVID. I don't want to talk about fucking April Fool's Day.
I call it Trust No One Day.
Are you going to talk about IGN's new E3 thing?
Yeah, I guess we could talk about all of the E3 replacements that have popped up. HomeCon, what else? Oh, man, let me just skim through a couple of these. There's nothing on screen on purpose because I haven't put anything up yet. Did
y'all hear about that Half-Life, but it's VR and the AI is self-learning?
Is it?
From Wayne Radio TV?
Oh, Wayne Ray. Who the fuck is that?
Guy. Alright, well, clearly
I don't know who that is.
I sit in a voice chat of clueless fools who have never once seen this series.
I have
It
absolutely no
started
idea.
coming out like last month.
Oh my god, there's so many things.
But if you like Half-Life shenanigans, give it a watch, because it's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Perhaps I shall. Oh man,
Do the Sony one. That's a good one.
what Sony one?
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about anything to do with COVID. There's been a bunch of E3 replacements. HomeCon, fucking IGN's doing one. What's that called?
I think that is HomeCon.
It's not HomeCon.
IGN.
Final Fantasy VII exists, and the universe won't let me forget it. I went into fucking a shop today, and I looked at the Super Noodles, and they had a fucking picture of Cloud Strife on
It
it.
was really weird.
The Jeff Goose. Talk about the money I wasted. Yes, Tom, I wasted a lot of money today, and I'm going to be buying a £300 chair. So,
Well, it's okay because I'm buying a £150 chair.
you know,
instead.
I guess that does make it okay.
Sometimes you gotta just upgrade your chair.
Wait, you bought the chair?
No, I'm going to. I've decided.
For £300?
Yes.
Okay. I mean...
Is it
My
an
one,
Epic Gamer chair for Epic Gamers?
It's the most epic gamer chair
It's
you've
very
ever seen, Alex.
Oh, thank God.
It's got like an Omega symbol on it and shit.
Right, this show was announced. A
Nier.
remake of Nier was announced.
Nier.
Stop shaking me.
No!
Bethesda's not going to be holding a replacement for its E3 show. Shall I tell you why? Because they have nothing to announce, just like last year. But they did E3 anyway. And I know.
This one there now.
Okay.
I'm frightened of it.
It's okay. What's it gonna do? Give you malaria?
Yeah. Give me
No.
COVID.
That's not how that works.
Yeah.
Talk
There
about how
was an ass
people.
on screen.
Talk about how there are still people out there called Jeff.
Josh, there
I
was an
don't
ass
want to-
on screen. You had an ass on screen on the advert. That's what I pointed at.
What?
Because there was like an ass on it, like a really like naked ass on it.
When?
There was an advert with like a naked ass, and that's why I pointed at it. And you were like, "Oh, it's fine."
What the fuck?
You just didn't process.
There was
the
an ass on screen?
Yeah, like a
It didn't
naked
even
woman's
faze me.
ass.
I'm just so used to being surrounded by. You know what? It was tasteful. I'm sure. I didn't see
No,
it.
it wasn't.
but-
It was from an
It's not
Arrow
good.
collection thing.
Well, that's gonna be not that bad, right?
It was
How bad could it be?
someone who sat like, "Ooh,
With
look
her
at
ass
my
out.
ass."
Look
Yeah.
at my bum.
Boom.
Gearbox doesn't pay people right.
Yep.
Mortal Shell is a game that was announced and looks kind of uninspired. Tales from the Loop came out. Fucking HomeCon exists. What?
You're just not talking about any of these stories. You're just
There's
like,
nothing
yeah,
to say. They just exist.
What is
This is
HomeCon?
it. No one knows. A bunch of people were
Okay,
just
what
like,
about the IGN
HomeCon.
one?
I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to get to that. IGN Summer of Gaming.
Yes.
IGN will
that's
be
it.
collaborating with 2K, Square Enix, Sega, Bandai Namco, Amazon,
Google Stadia.
Google Stadia, Twitter, Devolver, THQ Nordic, and more. Okay, so yeah, it's basically just a replacement for E3, because if E3 doesn't happen, IGN's not going to have anything to talk about.
Yes.
Josh is a pervert. Josh is so comfortable with the human form. He almost bought a Monster Girl porn today.
Oh my god.
No, I didn't.
Did
It's not
you,
porn.
Josh?
It's not porn. It's just a
It's
book.
art.
Are you sure? I see. Sure it is, Josh.
You know what?
Sure
I'm
it is.
sensing some judgmental
Right,
tone.
go on with the show. We're not
This
talking
is the
about
show
Monster
now.
Girl porn.
This is the show now.
That's what After Dark is for.
They're probably also going to talk about fucking PS5. Blah 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 blah. Does IGN still think the PS5 and the Series X are actually still going to be released this year? Because I
They
think
are. They're releasing it at Christmas.
I don't know. I feel like it could get pushed to early.
How
next
are they
year.
gonna develop them?
Exactly. Like they're not finished yet.
Yeah, but they have the HoloLens.
What does that mean?
That means that they can like collaborate really easily
about
with
Sony?
physical stuff. Sony can get fucked apparently.
Alright, okay. No, I see how it is. No, it's fine.
They just can't.
No, don't
like
worry
they don't
about it.
have
I'm
anything
not
they
worried.
can design a console with in remote settings.
Yeah.
Like HoloLens, you can easily and like tangibly see all of the components and everything
Yes.
from 3D models.
If I gave you unlimited budget and unlimited resources to create any app or game you wanted for the HoloLens, what would you do?
I don't know, Josh. Frog.
Well, thank you. That's a good answer.
Frog.
Frog? Is just a frog
Make
on
frog.
the table? Does it do anything?
Goes brr.
Frog 2.
Online schooling is going shit. Online schooling's weird because if you like pitch to me the idea of doing my university course online, I'd be like, hell yeah. But actually doing it, home is my safe space, you know?
Yeah, it just
And
makes
when my
your home
work
environment feel really weird and horrible.
is coming into that environment, it makes me feel like shit.
Yeah, and we
Oh,
have
my
to do
work isn't
lessons
coming into this
next to
environment,
each
just
other.
my school.
That's true.
My work is at a grocery store, and they want me to die, I think.
That's wow.
Wait a
We
minute.
love that.
Wait. But riddle me this. Do you buy groceries from that store?
Like, once every 3 days, maybe, and it's
you
like
bring
a
it into your
2 liter
home?
Sprite.
You bring it into
I
your
don't
home?
think working a 12-hour shift every day is worth a 2 liter of Sprite, Josh.
You know what? Why don't you think about it and get back to me? It really makes
I'll
you
think
think.
about beating your capitalist ass upside the head. I'll give you that.
I'm always
How about that?
I'm always getting fucking beat.
Yeah, I think the main thing with online schooling is fucking your home environment on your computer where you play video games and don't work very often.
Yeah, but what
And-
loser plays video games, right?
Yeah,
It's
what
okay.
loser
Just
would play
make sure
video
you
games?
barely get it done on time.
So have you heard of Totally Accurate Battle Simulator? They made a doc that if you pay for it, goes to charity, but if you don't, it's free. A DLC.
Oh right.
Yeah, I remember that. The game, I mean. It's cool. I you know what? One thing that I very much liked about this whole thing is how many, you know, indie companies and even big companies are. Wow, thank you. That's really going great with the green screen, Jess. There was a reason I hadn't moved it.
It's great. Just move
Uh,
the whole webcam onto here.
That
It'll
won't
cover
work.
it.
It won't,
I'm
Jess.
done.
It won't. You can see the whole
Heck you.
bed.
Heck you.
Has that fixed it, Jess?
Yeah. You can see all of me.
Can you see more of me now, Jess?
Put it on the end or something. No, on the other end.
The other end.
Yeah.
I don't. You don't seem to have a very good
What?
sense of space, Jess.
I
For
just
someone
want
whose
to be
favourite game is
seen,
Portal.
Josh. I just want to be seen. Women in the games industry aren't seen, Josh. Look at this. Look at this shit.
Your hair's blending in with the fucking green screen.
'Cause
You know, for someone who
women in
likes
the
to play
game
Animal
industry
Crossing, your
aren't
design
seen.
sense isn't very fashionable.
You can make
I'll have to
hobbits turn
switch
into
up.
black holes. Right. What about a brand new story from yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
Cooking Mama. You hear about it? Of course you did. It was all over.
Oh yeah, my favorite
Yeah.
thing.
Cooking Mama's freaking mining Bitcoin from your Switch. Maybe.
Maybe.
Unsubstantiated.
It's not actually, but the IP holder is fighting with the developers
Yay.
because they don't think it's polished enough.
Ooh. And that there's no other interesting things. What, Train to Busan 2 got an
I don't know
advert.
what Train to Busan is.
Train to Busan was a movie. It was a movie, Jess.
I like movies.
Oh, The Last of Us 2 got delayed. I said I wouldn't talk about any delayed, but this one's a unique delay because
Yeah.
most are delayed until like later this year, early next year. Last of Us 2 has been delayed indefinitely
Yeah.
when it was going to release next month.
Yeah. Do you think it's maybe thematically?
No. It's
It's gonna
almost
come out on the PS6.
it's almost as bad as
Oh yeah, no, Alex is
Fucking-
probably right.
PS6.
Well, the PS5 because like they probably want it as a launch title, right, to market the console.
They could launch it on both, easy.
No, but they want it to be exclusive
You're saying
to that,
they
so
want the
people buy
launch to
console.
be coincide with the PS5 release,
Yeah, and
like
they
how
want
they
it to
did
be a
with
console
Breath of the
exclusive.
Wild on the
Yeah.
Wii U. and
No, Jess, don't you see the PlayStation 5 is too early?
Yeah, no, they do.
You gotta
they
keep
could
delaying
do it
it.
until the PlayStation 6.
The Last of Us would be a significantly better game if instead of being mushroom-headed people, they were just coughing aggressively.
Gee, I wonder what that's in reference to.
Nothing.
I wonder
at
if
all.
YouTube will let me say what the reference is.
Mm.
Oh yeah, you should
Make
probably,
sure
like,
they
edit this
like
and
have
bleep out
difficulty
when you say
breathing
the
too.
word.
It's all. I think Last of Us 2 being delayed indefinitely is almost as good as A Quiet Place 2 being delayed indefinitely a week before it was released.
Yeah.
Less than a week, even. It was like 4 days.
Yeah.
Isn't that a movie?
Mhm.
Yes, that is a movie. I talk about
Alright,
movies
I
here
can't wait for the
sometimes.
torrents to start popping up.
No, they can't because it wasn't even released in theaters because of
Does just have a
the
glowy
event.
Well, theaters don't even like have like
Glowy cheek?
the like
Oh,
films to like
this.
preview or whatever.
It's great, right?
Yeah, they'd send in.
There.
Yeah, surely some theaters would have received copies of the film already. That's a good point.
And what I'm saying, I can't wait for the torrents to start popping
Yeah,
up.
right. What the fuck? Quiet Place and Last of Us have a lot in common. Yeah, I said this when the Last of when A Quiet Place 2 released its first trailer, I fucking said this is literally just The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Like, enemy that you have to be really quiet around. Fucking the main threat of Quiet Place 2 is the humans, not the zombies. Fucking emphasis on bow and arrow, and there's literally a scene where in the advert where one of the characters throws a brick to distract one of the monsters, and it's shot like a fucking third-person video game. It is shocking.
They probably just wanted to make a Last of Us movie and couldn't get
John
it right.
Krasinski's just a man and daughter dynamic. Yes, there is parent and daughter. Not man and daughter though. It is mother and daughter. So I can't relate to it because this is woman.
Half-Life and Last of Us are the exact same game, but Half-Life does it better.
That's debatable. Half-Life's got a worse story.
I don't know. I kind of like the story of a theoretical physicist just going ape shit.
Yeah,
A
I
theoretical
love-
physics.
And then like some like eldritch horror loves thinks he's so good at it. They're
What happened
like,
to focus? What the
I
we're
don't
gonna
know.
hire you to go
What?
ape shit.
Hey. Oh. Okay,
It's fine.
There we go.
Don't worry about it.
But yeah, no, I kind of prefer Half-Life story because it doesn't take itself too seriously. It lets it be cartoony in a zombie environment.
Half-Life story to me is just it's a case of it's good for a video game story.
Okay.
You know?
I mean,
Like if Half-Life had been a film or a book first,
yeah.
I don't think it would have been very popular.
I don't know.
I do.
Well,
The Last of Us' story is pretty good for a zombie video game.
Yes, that's very true. It's really great for a zombie story. But it's pushing it a bit to call The Last of Us a video game, let's be honest. Flub says thing. Oh boy, am I talking about? I don't want to talk about the virus.
Claims to be pro-life.
Fuck's sake. Claims to be pro-life. Dies anyway. How about we talk about theme parks? You may think that because all the theme parks are closed, there's no news. Well, guess what? I fucking dug something up. Did you know that they're opening a fucking Marvel land, a Disneyland, a Disney World, and Disneyland Paris, and because people still care about Marvel, right?
No. I don't.
It's opening next year. People are going to want to go to a Marvel land next year, right? Well, you know, they revealed that also the Marvel Land story doesn't take place in the same Marvel Cinematic Universe that the movies do. It takes place in a version of the Marvel Cinematic Universe that's more marketable, where the snap never happened.
Where Thanos is just your goofy local neighbor.
He's
who
just like
brings
the
you cookies
friendly
every once in a
uncle.
while.
GRYITH talking about theme parks on his stream? Get out of here. Fake news. You know what? They also announced a bunch of merch that's going to be at the Marvel fucking land, but I'm sparing you listening to me talking that much about theme parks. But I will say, Bob Iger, if you're listening, don't do it. Don't do the fucking Ant-Man restaurant. Those fucking things are goofy and stupid, but they're gonna cost $50 each. Don't do it. I'm not gonna eat a burger with a big patty and a tiny little bun. How am I gonna eat it, Bob Chapek? Because he's the CEO now, and he runs the fucking parks division. Who's running the parks division now that Bob Chapek's CEO of Disney?
I don't know.
Who's
Bob
CEO of...
Cock.
How dare you? Who is running parks and experiences Disney? I typed that perfectly. There we go. Oh, fuck. Fuck. No, they didn't think about it. Bob Iger was so desperate to get Bob Chapek as the CEO of Disney, they didn't even hire a new head of parks and, whatever else was in his job title. Is Last Temptation of Christ an adapted screenplay or a documentary? Whatever Captain Phillips was, what did they call that? What genre did they make up for that slew of movies that was kind of like that?
I don't know.
It's a phrase I'd never heard before this movie. Biographical drama thriller. No, that's not the word they use. That's not the word they use. That's what it is. But they called it something else. It was like recre drama or something. Like recreation / drama. Like recre drama. I fucking heard someone on like the MTV Awards call it that. And I was like, eh. Stinky. I'm the captain now. That's the only reason anyone knows that film exists, I swear to God. Josh, is the Bible real? Thoughts? I do believe that there is a book that you can purchase or sometimes get given for free called the Bible. Yes, I believe that that book exists.
This is fake news. This can't be real.
I'm not thinking of Sully. Might have been Sully. Fuck, was it Sully? They're the same movie, let's be honest. It's an American biographical drama film. No, they call it that there. Bro, just call it a biopic. What's the best biopic? Is it Walk the Line? What's that one where fucking Kurt Russell played Elvis? Yeah, it's just called Elvis. And it was directed by John Carpenter. What the fuck? What the fuck? Dark Quarters was pretty great. Dark Quarters was great. Have you watched The Mist? Flub, do you mean The Mist show or The Mist film?
The piss.
Whoa.
If you say that one more time, I'm gonna kick you. Okay, I won't have that kind of language on Joe.
Would you by any chance be referring to the piss?
Game over, buddy. I'm reporting you to Twitch higher up.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna send. You have given me no choice but to pull out my backup plan.
Oh no. Fucking Tom says best biopic is Bohemian Rhapsody. Ew. Wife, I think I might be bisexual. No, Freddy, you're gay. That's the best scene in the fucking movie. Where she goes, no, Freddy, you're gay.
Tie this around your waist. Well, let us know you got at least 300 feet.
There's nothing out there.
Do you mean this version of the Mist, Flub? Or do you mean this version of the Mist? I never saw this version of the Mist.
The rules. Let's get out of this town. It can't be alone.
What? Who said that? Oh, it was Steve. Sorry, I saw you saying, bro, I'd just call it a biopic, and then I immediately read, have you watched The Mist? And I was like, these are the same message, fuck's sake. One, I'm Craig Steve, and two, Theon, where they both take place in grocery stores. Because they're based on the same book.
You fool.
By
You imbecile.
Stephen King. What did you just send me? Game over.
Game over.
Oh my god. I can't believe you just sent me this. I'm going to scream.
This is what you have earned,
This
Josh.
is what I have wrought.
This is what you have earned. You decided to pull game over, so I invoked my own.
Oh, Kaylin says they're both a decent enough watch, but the ending of the film is way better. The ending of the film is very divisive between audiences, I think. I won't say what it is, because spoilies. Stalker the game and Stalker the movie are based on the same book. What the Fraggle Rock? Fraggle Rock should be... Let's make that a thing. Wait, so one's a show and one's a movie. Yes, one is a like short form show. It's like 5 episodes, and the other is a movie. Okay, yes, the movie.
For the love of everything fraggable, it's fucking cold in here.
The 2009 movie is interesting and has an interesting ending. It's a lot of interesting things, and there's a lot of really great monster designs and things, but it's a weird one because in the movie they use a lot of practical effects and they don't CG over them very much. But then in the film they don't look practical, they look CG because of the way they film them. It's weird. Josh, can we watch Fraggle Rock? It's so wholesome and feel good. Jess wants to watch Fraggle Rock, right?
I do.
That sounds impressive. It's interesting. When I say it looks like CG, I don't mean that in a good way necessarily. Also,
it looks terrible, basically.
The monster designs are good, I will say, but in the original book, things are described purposefully by Stephen King in ways that don't make sense. Like, they're described as creatures that biologically shouldn't make sense. That, like, you try and put together what it would look like in your head and it's not meant to fit together. But then in the movie, they're like, this is what it looks like. It was designed to be watched in black and white. That's how the director wanted it. Yeah. And that makes it look even weirder, actually. I nearly bought The Thing 3 times today, but didn't because I'm never going to rewatch. Tom, but it's such a good movie. Such a good movie. Yeah, it's the same issue that the new film, A Color Out of Space, had, where it's based on a story about a meteor landing and having a thing in it that is a color that us human beings have never seen before. And this new strange thing, our puny human mortal brains can't comprehend it, so everyone goes mad. But in the film, they're like, oh, we have to show the color, so the color's just like purpley pink.
Yeah.
So it's just a film about a world where pink never existed.
Yeah.
Until this meteor lands. I like when the thing goes, hello, I am hot dog. I am hot blood and a dog. Yes, I like when the thing is dog. Actually, quite honestly, the dog is the best performance in that whole movie. It's blue. What? No, it's not. It's clearly pink. It's clearly pink. Right, I've been so close to like rewatching Color Out of Space just because this is a really nice, like all of the posters are really nice. I was joking, Jesus. Kurt Russell's sexy. I mean, I wasn't gonna say anything, but like, fuck's sake. Grith, take a joke. I don't know what humor is. I am a Jeff Bezos plant. Well, you know, I reckon that I've said everything that I want to say on the show.
Yeah?
I think so.
Okay.
Alrighty.
That was very quick. Are you sure there's nothing you want to go into?
Can you think of anything?
No, but...
No? Good luck, everyone. Kurt Russell... I have no idea what you're talking about, Tom. Kurt Russell, Billy, and Mandy. I get it. Because that one character's based on Kurt Russell's character in Escape from New York. Snake Plissken. Do you know who else was based on Snake Plissken? I bet you'll never guess. Let me get up a picture of him. I spelled it wrong.
You're gonna have to do some editing up of this, by the way, because of the mentions of the event.
Who do you think was based on this character Snake Plissken. Snake Plissken.
I wonder.
I have no idea. Nothing
S-
comes to mind.
Snake.
Snake
His name is
Plissken.
Snake Plissken.
Is his name? Is his name Snake
Hmm. No, I can't think of anything. I'm sorry.
Caitlin says Severus
characters
Snape,
ever
and she
called
is
Snape.
absolutely correct. It was Severus
Yeah,
Snape. That was the
yeah,
character.
Oh,
yeah.
I
Mm.
should have
Yeah.
known.
That's the one. Yeah, I think that's
Snape
the
Plissken.
Snape Plissken. The Rock. Tom, The Rock's not real. Has Jungle Cruise been delayed? Jungle Cruise movie
Spoilers.
delayed.
It has.
No!
Oh, dear. The Jungle Cruise movie about the Jungle Cruise, which is a ride that is inherently inspired by the improv comedy on the ride, which it doesn't have an absolute story, and
But
it's just a ride that you go on a
Jess.
boat with some props.
Yes, that's like saying that Pirates of the Caribbean doesn't have a long enough story for you to adapt into 7 films.
Yeah, but
That's like
Pirates of the Caribbean's
saying-
actually
Well-
good.
That's like saying The Haunted Mansion shouldn't have been a comedy with Eddie Murphy.
I like
It should
the
have been.
Haunted Mansion
It should have been an
film.
animated movie.
Yeah, but
Haunted Mansion.
Oh
But
God!
what about Luigi?
Tom just said fucking Country Bears. Let's. Oh my God.
wait, was Country Bears a movie?
Oh my God. Country Bears was made into a movie.
Why?
Oh fuck.
Was it actually?
Coming
Yes.
soon to own on video and DVD. Barry Barrington.
There it is.
Oh yeah, that's triggered some
He's run away from home.
Now
I like
Barry's
this fucking
about to
VHS
discover
capture
his
with the
destiny.
fucking wiggly.
Country Bears! With 4 guys who are barely a band.
I belong
They're barely
here.
a band.
What are you going to
It's the bears.
Yeah, he's got thick brown hair.
Did you get
all
it?
over his body.
On Disney DVD and video. One boy is searching
No, I forget.
for
Isn't
what
this-
he's been missing
Bear.
and discovering what he's
Barnaby
had
Bear?
all along.
What the fuck is that?
Oh, that's no little bear. That's my bro.
But what the fuck is
It's
this?
Barnaby Bear. I love Barnaby
Who?
Good shots.
Bear.
We're never going to get to Juan Pablo's house.
Why are his eyes so wide?
I don't know. I didn't ever think. Probably what Brigsby Bear was based on.
It's almost definitely what Brigsby
It
Bear
looks
was
like
based on.
identical to
Come on, cool down, and you can both have a rest.
Mexico City. What's Barnaby gonna be doing down in Mexico
What's
City?
he's escaping the American police.
Oh, I
He's-
see.
He's
Barnaby
wanted
Bear
for war
couldn't cross
crimes.
the border due to some racial
Barnaby Bear episode 4, Crossing the
Barnaby
Border.
is stuck in
Where are we going
Mexico
first
City.
on our sightseeing?
We're going to the Latin American Tower.
All the way up there?
Why does Barnaby Bear sound like that?
Ooh,
I don't know. What does he sound like?
the whole of Mexico
he's
City is
Scottish.
spread out below
He's
us.
Scottish.
It goes on for miles
Disgusting.
and miles, and it's surrounded by mountains.
Barnaby
Two
Bear
volcanoes,
fights the
Barnaby.
Irish.
Over the 2 volcanoes?
Yes, the biggest one is called Popocatépetl. It
Don't
means a
actually,
smoking mountain.
because BBC's
Wow,
definitely gonna
that's a
cost
great
us.
name.
It's really well
Actually,
shot.
Yeah, it's a really good show.
Like legit,
Yeah,
really well shot.
It's a good show. You know what's a better show? Mr. Fucking Tumble.
I'm not putting on Mr. Tumble.
Mr.
No, Mr. Tumble.
Tumble.
No, I hate Mr. Tumble.
He's great.
He
teaches you sign
scares
language.
me.
Why did he scare you? He's Mr. Tumble, dude.
I know he teaches you sign language, but it's like it makes me uncomfortable.
Something special. Mr.
Go swish, swish, swish all day long.
It makes me uncomfortable.
Honk, honk.
Johnny Test, Blue's Clues, but people know about those shows. You ever heard of Mr. Fucking Tumble? I bet you fucking haven't. I only have because of
Wait, what
Jess.
is it? Mr. My name is
My
Mr. Tumble. I don't know what
on
Mr. is.
the treetop. When the wind blows,
Is it
the
windy?
cradle will
Is that what
rock.
windy is? I'm hearing.
When
I'm seeing this
the
as no
bow
windy is. I'm trying to
breaks,
figure it out.
the
what it's from.
cradle will fall.
Is
down
Nest
will
fallen
come
down?
baby
and
cradle
is Nest
and
caught
all.
him? Opening the door.
Can I just say though, legitimately, CBeebies is the single
Oh, yeah.
best thing
They
that
were threatening to shut
the
it down,
BBC
like,
does.
fucking,
Yeah, they were
like-
threatening to shut it down.
Yeah.
It's a really genuinely good place for children to learn
It's such a
actually
safe
good
space,
things.
and it teaches all of the shows are like teaching kids things, but they're also
And then
compelling.
CBBC hasn't made a single good show.
I would disagree with that.
What?
but okay.
Tracy Beaker's a masterpiece now. You can make my world come true.
I want you to see me through.
No
Doesn't matter
matter
what
what
come my way. Believe me now, I'll
I'm
get
with
my
the
way.
day. And then BBC, what do they have? The Bodyguard, generic drama,
Yeah, they have Killing Eve.
generic drama.
No, Killing Eve's not a generic
It's
drama.
pretty standard.
No, it's very good. It's a very, very unique story.
I don't think it is.
Yeah.
It's been done in films, loads, just
Like
not with
what?
two women.
I don't know. The way they do it is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's good. It's really well made.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's very original. It's the Inside Out conundrum.
Yeah.
It's good. It's well made.
What other shows can we make the Americans not understand? Oh, let's do Blue Peter. Blue Peter is a top tier show.
What was that on CBBC?
Yeah.
Yeah, Blue Peter.
You
I
never
think
watched
yeah.
Blue Peter,
No.
but that's-
No. I do think Blue
that's
Peter was a great
CBBC.
show, but that was CBBC like thinking is what
Yeah.
Blue Peter is. They're trying to help people.
Yeah. It like actually
The
teaches
kiddies.
kids stuff like how to get into actual industries and shit.
Yes,
And it's teaching them like life skills
and
more than like
they're
logic.
they're helping children be creative. They're like,
Yeah,
oh,
and
if you create something
confidence,
really cool, you will put it on a show.
Yeah.
I
got
think
Blue
Mr.
Peter back.
Tumnus is something special.
Mr. Tumnus.
Yeah.
Do you mean Mr. Tumble or do you mean Mr. Tumnus?
Mr. Tumnus was
No,
a
I
great
was saying
movie.
Mr. Tumble did something special, but Mr.Tumnus, on the other hand,
Mr.
he was
Tumnus.
something special.
What,
Which
with his little goofy?
which movie was it where they did Mr. Tumnus doing like a MTV
Epic
Cribs?
movie. Epic movie.
Oh, God.
That's an epic movie, Josh.
The one you have on DVD.
Yeah. No, I have
Welcome to
disaster
my
movie.
farm.
Oh, sorry for mixing those up. Spy Kids 4. Do you mean Spy Kids 4D?
Or dick.
What? Probably.
Probably.
Is this news? It doesn't have to be news. I'm talking about whatever I want. The show should be over by now, technically.
Epic movie is news in my eyes. It's news that it exists every single day.
For when Didi's in the house. Yo, Didi!
Yeah, it is.
Josh,
Sorry,
what's
I got
your
hypnotized by Epic Movie.
Josh? What's your favorite of the movie
The
movies?
movies.
Uh,
Do
Epic
Michael
movie,
Bean.
date movie, disaster movie.
are you asking
scary movie.
unironically or
No, I'm
Do
just
one
asking
called
what your
Movie,
favorite
Movie,
is.
Movie, Movie
are you
that's a
asking which
parody of
are
his
you
book,
asking
Captain
which is
Alex.
unironically the one I would say has the most value as a film?
Josh, why'd you have to like any of them ironically?
It's true.
They are all masterpieces.
Did you miss my amazing joke?
Yeah, I did.
Josh,
said
I
they should
think
make
you would
one
like
called
to
Movie. That's a parody
They
of his
should-
book, Captain Alexi.
Josh, I think you would like Disaster Movie the best because it has Kung Fu Panda in it.
I've seen it. I've seen all of the movies. I think.
And actual Kim Kardashian, not a parody. She actually acts in it.
Yeah. I think I've seen all of them. I think. Let's look it up.
Why have you seen all?
Well, how would I even
Josh,
look
have
that
you-
up?
Have you seen Vampires Suck?
I have.
I have.
Have you seen the
There's been-
Hangover games?
I always mix it up with the Hungry
Hungry
Games.
Games.
They're the same movie at the end of the day.
No, the Starving Games, you fool.
I'm sorry. I
There
won't
was,
get it
like,
mixed up
so
next
many.
time.
There were so many. For
What
some-
about Meet the Spartans?
Oh, that's a good one.
I never saw that one.
I liked that one.
What about is it called Superhero Movie? I remember that being my least favorite.
Sounds bad.
I vaguely remember it. I'm
Is
just
there
trying
any
to
other
think.
weird show we want to put on?
What?
You
weird
just need to
show?
look at that one writer.
Oh, the one that's like on all
The
of
one
the
that did
movie
everything.
movies. It's like featuring one of the writers from
Yeah.
fucking Scary
Yeah.
Movie. Crack Steve says, "Listen, Hancock is my favorite superhero movie. Very epic."
That's a good movie up until the second half.
Yeah, I'd agree with you
Yeah, the first half is a great concept, and then the second half is an entirely different movie. What?
My favorite superhero movie is The Incredibles.
Yeah, good.
That
good
kind of
choice.
defies genre at that point.
It does. What he?
Anyway,
I think we're done on the show. Jess,
Hi.
I think we're done on the show. I think we've run out of things.
you can never run out of things.
And also, it's really fucking hot in this
I'm
room.
not actually hot.
I'm fucking boiling. So I want to get. I want to take the green screen down.
I'll go turn off the light, shall I?
Yes. Thank you for coming to the first socially distanced episode of the GRYITH show.
Who's
Yeah.
The quarantine show.
Thank you for coming.
Stay safe!
Stay safe and stay indoors.
Stay inside.
If
Josh,
you
that was a good reference.
don't get out like the hit film Get Out.
Stay indoors.
We
like
haven't
the
been
hit
this way
film.
since the incident.
Stay in.
The incident. The event.
Yeah. Is it the event? I thought
I
it was
think
the
it's the
incident.
event.
No, it's the
I think
event.
it is the event. I love that show.
Yeah, it's great. Anyway, bye-bye.
Bye bye, man.